Asante sana. In Kenya, we say thank you is asante sana. I'm here to speak my truth to power. Of course, I started listening to the presentation when there was the band that was playing, and I'm deeply honored to be joining you, albeit virtually from Nairobi. You know, the messed up story with the visa, but nonetheless, we're here to listen to inspiring stories about what we have been to, or what we have been through since, getting into what design can do. My name is Mary Nyaruai, as our host has just mentioned, and I'm the founder of Nyungu Afrika. So every time I introduce myself, everybody wants to find out what is the meaning of Nyungu. So just like you have air fryers in your kitchens, Nyungu is a symbolic representation of the womb, and we have many African traditional societies have earthen pots in their homes, and that is what is representative of the womb. And really, Nyungu's work is to protect the sovereignty of our wombs and what the products that we create. And this is actually the inspiration of naming the company Nyungu. So every time you see an earthen pot, remember Nyungu and remember the womb. And as you can see me there in a picture, cooking one traditional meal with the Nyungu. And my story really starts very many years ago because of my relationship with my grandmother. Back in 2018, I started becoming curious about womanhood in pre-colonial and post-colonial times. And my grandmother really inspired much of the content I created in 2018. And my journey has been, a melting point of so many cocktails of events and experiences. First, as a lived experience as a woman who has a womb and I have periods. And the second thing is I live in Thika, and that's why I'm wearing this beautiful shirt of pineapples. I live in the pineapple capital of Kenya. So we have thousands, if not millions of acres of pineapples everywhere, and I've been seeing them for over 2 decades. And being in Thika, being a woman, and being a mobile journalist, I have seen firsthand how school-going girls unfortunately have to sell their bodies for a little under €1 to buy sanitary pads. This is a huge crisis in my country. We have so many teenage pregnancies because for a lot of girls, having a period either means, missing school or not going to school at all, or even getting married. So it's really a bad experience for a lot of girls. And really what propelled me into getting into, forming Nyungu was a viral hashtag in 2019, where thousands of women were talking about, their experiences with irritation from using always sanitary pads at the time. So the rashes, burning, and irritation. So you can imagine the whole of Twitter at the time, now it's X, was tons and troves of this hashtag of women. And sadly, even in 2019, we had a case of a young school-going girl who was allegedly shamed in class for starting her period, and she went and took her life. So with all those experiences, this is what really sprung me into action to create something better. But I was met with other problems. I don't know if you know this, but as recent as 2 weeks ago, there was a project, or rather a body of work that was presented by the Women Environment Network, that the tampons have been found to have toxic pesticides 4 times more than allowed in drinking water. I don't even understand why we need to have toxins in drinking water, let alone our tampons. And last year, there was also a report about toxic metals found in sanitary and tampons as well. And what's worse, I was even telling Gaff, who is also in the event, that when I think about it, the sanitary pad that I used when I started my period is somewhere in this planet, and it will take maybe 4 or 5 generations. All of us will not be here before it biodegrades. So we don't only have a problem of lack of access for so many millions of women and girls, we also have a problem of toxicity in these period products, and we also have a problem of environmental pollution. So really, we have a humanitarian and environmental crisis right before our eyes that is affecting half of the world's population, and really governments need to do something about it. Because when you think about it scientifically, the vaginal walls are very absorbent, so they bypass the bloodstream. So all these toxins are getting into the bodies of women, and these toxins have been known to cause cancer. So really, this is a crisis we cannot afford to waste. But there's a lot of hope, because there's a publication by McKinsey. I think the greatest return of investment when it comes to investing in menstrual health is that there's a 1 trillion opportunity when it comes to closing the women's health gap. And there's also been studies that have been shown that investing in menstrual health has good and positive return on investments on the economy, on human lives, and also on the environment. And we want to see more government bans on plastic, because as I mentioned before, pads are made with 90% plastic, and they take hundreds of years to decompose. And I think one of the beautiful things I've also been researching is that menstrual blood has stem cells. Can you imagine that the blood that is not born of violence, that is so shunned upon, can actually regenerate cells that can be used topically to heal us? So there's so much potential in a process really that is bringing us all together. I normally say this, the reason we're all gathered here today, you in Amsterdam, me in Kenya, everybody here, is because our mothers missed their period. So it's something we cannot be able to shun. It's a normal and healthy biological process. And our journey in terms of making the sanitary pads is we take the leaves of the pineapple. So because of the millions of acres we have of pineapple leaves, so before they used to be trampled upon by huge tractors, but what we do is we take these leaves, the leaves that you can see in that picture, and then we extract this fiber. It's very silky and white. Then we also combine it with maize husks, and we create a pulp. The pulp is then shredded into a fluff, and it becomes the absorbent for the sanitary pad. And that is our process of making eco-friendly sanitary pads. So between having the idea coming from the hashtag and all those things that happened, and up to now, we've been creating prototypes and testing them. So we've tested our prototypes in Germany, in the UK, in India, because it's not just enough to design a good product. It is our duty as Nyungu to design a product that is not only kind on women, but also the planet. So hearing performance results that we have great retention compared to, previous slide, please. Great retention compared to wood pulp and cotton is such a great validation to the work that we've done. The fact that our patent has been published, we have an application for a patent in the Patent Cooperation Treaty, is such a huge validation for us. And beyond that, I think our work is going to schools to teach young boys and young girls that menstruation is not dirty. It is a natural biological process. So reaching over 3,000 kids in different counties in Kenya is so heartwarming for us, as well as upcycling over 20,000 kilograms of pineapple and waste, agro waste, to create sanitary pads. And the future is bright for Nyungu, because as she mentioned, 4 years ago, I was one of the winners of the No Waste Challenge. And when I came there, we had a design class by the legendary Bruce Mao. I'll never forget that class, because I think we did an interview after that, and I was asked, so Mary, tell us, what do you think? And I said this quote that I'm always so happy to say, that when I came to the Netherlands at that time, I came as an entrepreneur and I left as a designer. I think, and I believe so firmly, when we're speaking truth to power, we should also be telling people that they need to design not just good design, because good design is beautiful, but great design great design is powerful because it can be used as a force for good. And that's what we are doing at Nyungu. It's not just enough for us to create sanitary pads. We want to exhaust what pineapple and maize husks can do. Thinking about tampons and tissue papers and papers as well made from pineapple fiber, because it is our imperative duty to do that. And what I love about what design can do is bringing together entrepreneurs, change makers, policymakers, because if you really think about it, everything that we're doing was conceived, or everything that we see was conceived and designed in someone's mind. And what design can do is a melting point of that, having all those people come together. So if we're designing things, can we design things that are kind to the environment, that honor nature, because it is nature that has given us the opportunity to create these things for our convenience. Let us respect and use design as a force for good. And honestly, I'm deeply honored, even though I really wanted to be there, but either way, we are here, and we are here to speak truth to power, to design things with, to use design as a force for good. And I really, really appreciate your time.